That's the theme of this podcast, the fucking death of pretty good in my life. And I want you to consider taking pretty good, putting it in the casket and burying it somewhere in the woods. Because for me, it's unlocked a level of freedom. It's unlocked a level of brutal honesty. It's unlocked a level of performance in my life and not so bad results that I want for you, no matter where you're at. I'm Brian Pannuzzo. I help executives inside of corporate America transform their personal lives to become as successful as their professional careers have been. I am an expert at this because I did it myself. I sat in your seat for 2 decades. I am not special. If I can do it, so can you. Welcome back to the show. This is episode number 216 of the Success Lift podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Thank you so much for being back with me. I hope you had a great extended July 4th holiday. I was talking to a couple of clients of mine, and we were kind of navigating through the week as to what they were going to hold themselves accountable to and how I was going to help them. And we talked through certain scenarios. This is what I do inside of my programs with one-on-one relationships. We actually navigate. Remember, go back to how to systematically reduce alcohol in your life is, you have to have a plan for each week. You got to have a destination in the GPS, but then you have to figure out what are your turn by turn directions on a weekly basis. And I'll get on a brief call with my clients and we'll strategize, because oftentimes you might have 3 or 4 different commitments that involve or you are surrounded by, doesn't mean you have to partake at the level that you normally do, alcohol. And so we talked a little bit about July 4th falling on absolutely the worst day it possibly could, because it was a Thursday. And so, Wednesday's kind of a half day, and then you get into maybe a late round of golf or a barbecue or just hanging out on your patio, sort of kicking off the holiday. Or maybe you've already commuted, you took the day off, you commuted down to the beach earlier in the week or on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, whatever it may be. But you got Wednesday, you got Thursday, you got Friday, day after. A lot of people aren't going to go into the office. Maybe they log on, work from home for a little while Friday morning. You got Friday, then you got Saturday, Sunday. Boom, all of a sudden, this is how one day, a July 4th party, afternoon barbecue, time at the beach, whatever it may be, can turn into a 5-day debacle. And that's why I'm different than other people out there, because I understand that. And while you may hear from another coach out there that July 4th is just 3 hours, go have your fun and get back to it. And while yes, that is absolutely true, I understand that you probably had multiple rounds of golf this weekend. You probably had a party, a barbecue, an event at country club. You might have hit the beach one day. You might have gone over to a friend's house who has a beautiful home, who has a nice pool, who had people over, and alcohol and the foods that don't help you achieve the desired look that you are going for are all over the place. And how the hell do you do it? And that's why you work with a specialist like me. More on the concept of generalists and specialists coming soon. It's a topic I've been talking about with a lot of people that are inside the financial services industry. More specifically, my old world, on a trading desk, you'd have certain types of analysts. And I can give you a lot of analogies. My brain still works in basketball and in business. And so specifically in financial markets, financial concepts. And so if you are a financial professional, the things I say likely resonate with you, because I can't quit it. I cannot quit it. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. This is going to be a pretty short message once I get to it. But I got some housekeeping to talk about first. As you know, I typically ask you to support the show. Why wouldn't you support the show? I'm doing this for free, everyone. And I love that you follow along. I love that you keep me posted. I love that you let me know that you're listening. I love when you share the show. Thank you. So if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. We keep having more and more new people find us, whether you found me on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, you're not subscribed to me yet, go check out my channel at Brian Pannuzzo. All of these episodes are on there at some point pretty soon. I'm not going to say very soon because I'm not going to hold myself to a standard that I can't execute upon. But pretty soon, we're going to start putting more and more video content up on YouTube. I'm also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I'm probably other places too. I just don't really pay attention. So if you go to Apple Podcasts, if you go to Spotify, check me out, subscribe or follow the show. That really helps. And if you could do what my man Todd did recently, leave a damn review, leave a 5-star rating. My man Todd titled this one Motivational and Inspirational. Damn, thank you, Todd. I recently started listening to Brian's podcast and I am hooked. If you are looking for some motivation or inspiration to improve any aspect of your personal life, this is the place to be. At some point during every episode I listen to, I feel like Brian is speaking directly to me. The topics he speaks about are extremely relatable and relevant. This is a must listen if you're looking to level up your life. Todd, thank you for that incredible review. And that goes back to the generalist and specialist conversation. And so I will save it for a show coming soon. But I am an expert in you because I was you. Remember the little intro, the little hook that I start with? By the way, what do you think about that? Is that a good one? Do you want me to improve it? Should I do something different? But I'm an expert in you. And while there are thousands and thousands of incredible coaches out there who are extraordinarily knowledgeable, I do not believe that there is another coach out there that does what I do that knows you as well as I do, because I was you. And some days I still am. So let's get to today's message, because I want to talk about something that I've been experiencing inside of my own life. And I've had a massive physical transformation. But what most people don't see is what's going on inside of here. And while there isn't always a lot floating around in here, I have made some pretty impressive mental transformations over the last 12 months or so. I recently was at a conference for a program that I've been a part of for the last year and a half. It's a fitness and nutrition coaching program. Yes, your man actually partakes and forks over his dollars to other fitness and nutrition professionals to help him in his life. Number one, because I find tremendous value in it. Number two, we all need coaches, and I know what the hell I'm doing, but a lot of times I'll try to negotiate with myself. A lot of times I'll talk myself out of what needs to be done. Oftentimes I just need somebody to talk to and explain why I couldn't do some of the basics that week and what obstacles were getting in my way. And so oftentimes it's not you not wanting to go for a walk or to go lift the weights or to eat the damn chicken breast. It's you have something stressful going on in your life and you allow the downstream effect to impact the choice that you're making, which you're fully in control of. And so when you can get to that root cause and you can understand and you can separate yourself from the event with the reaction, that's when you turn into Buddha. That's when you turn into Gandhi, the first two people that came to mind. That's when you have this enlightened ability, this unconscious incompetence to be able to do the things that need to be done to achieve the look and the feel that you want. And so to give you some quick background, in case you're new, thank you, welcome. I am currently, I'm a 6'6", 46-year-old man with 2 kids, happily married, living in California, originally from New Jersey. It's more background than I planned to give you. I weigh currently about 222 pounds at the time of this recording. I joined, and that's probably at the low end of my typical range. Actually, not probably, it is. I'll live most likely in the 225, maybe up to 230 pound range, where I look super lean and pretty darn fit. Now, some more background. Last year in February, so we're talking a year and 5-ish months ago, almost a year and a half, let's round up. I joined a program. I joined at 230-ish, 232, I believe, to be exact pounds in February of 2023. I was a fairly lean guy. I had some muscle on me. I certainly took my shirt off and felt pretty good about the way I looked and felt. And there were a lot of things in my life that were pretty good. Okay. And that's the theme of this podcast, the fucking death of pretty good in my life. And I want you to consider taking pretty good, putting it in the casket and burying it somewhere in the woods. Because for me, it's unlocked the level of freedom. It's unlocked the level of brutal honesty. It's unlocked the level of performance in my life, and not so bad results that I want for you, no matter where you're at. Okay. You might have $100 million in the bank. I do not. You might have 2 abs up top, but still carrying the rest of that below. You might have lost 15 or 20 pounds doing some of the basics, but you still are carrying a little bit of excess body fat in your stomach. You might have cut back your alcohol consumption from 4 to 5 days a week, from blackout sitches to 2 or 3, 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 1 or 2. Where are the fucking zeros? Where are the zeros? When are you going to take pretty good in your life and take it to the next level and take it to an elite level in whatever area it is you desire? Now, here's the secret that I'm finding out in real time. You focus on one area of your life and you are willing to commit to eradicating pretty good, killing it off, dying. Pretty good is over in my life. Now, let me be clear. There are still aspects of my life that are pretty good because I can't change them overnight. You're going to make a decision about maybe how you look and that you're done feeling and looking the way you do right now. Tomorrow you will wake up and you will look the exact same as you do right now. I may make a commitment that my income, my wealth is pretty good, and that's fucking over, and I'm killing it off and I'm taking it to another level. My bank account don't just automatically change. I may make a decision that my marriage is pretty good, but I want it to be elite. It doesn't change overnight. In fact, sometimes it goes backwards. And so while I made that declaration about a year and change ago, about a year and a half ago as well, I've seen, just like a normal stock chart, I don't know which way we're going here, but I've seen skyrocketing to the upside. And then I've seen myself giving back some gains, consolidating, basing, hanging out. How's your relationship? How's it changed? It's about the same in the last month or two. Ooh, it's kind of feel like it's getting back into that pretty good territory. I'm getting comfortable. There's a level of comfort inside of pretty good that is killing you. Now, there could be the silent killer of like, your life is pretty good until it's not. Your weight is pretty good until all of a sudden your blood work is shit. Your marriage is pretty good until all of a sudden your spouse says, I'm not so sure about this. Happened to me 10 years ago. Your income is pretty good. Your wealth is pretty good until you have an emergency in your family that's going to cost you $250,000 a year to fund. Pretty good is a dangerous place, in my opinion. It doesn't mean that if you're there, you failed, because you've done a lot to get there, especially if your standard is high like mine. My pretty good standard is pretty fucking high for a lot of people. But what I can tell you from what I've experienced in making a choice to kill it off and eradicate it in my life over the last year, it's a process. It's not like you just go, cool, pretty good's done. Like I said, you wake up tomorrow, you're the same person. Go to the gym once today, you don't get any healthier tomorrow. Eat a salad today, you don't get any healthier tomorrow. Go to the gym every day, eat a salad every day. In a year, you're probably going to be a little bit healthier, maybe even a lot. And so this won't change overnight, but it's a process that you undertake. It's an identity that you take on. It's how you carry yourself and conduct yourself. It's a new standard that you hold yourself to. And here's the cool part. You start to hold other people to the same standard. If you have reached out to me recently, you may have gotten more honesty from me than you're used to in the past. I am asking my clients to hold me to a level, to a standard, to an accountability level that we've never had before. I'm asking for feedback more than I ever had. Hey guys, what do you think of this process inside my business? Does it suck? Are you getting value out of it? Because I'm just doing this over and over again. And like, unless you tell me that you don't think it's good, I'm just going to assume that it's okay. And I want my results to be fucking off the charts. I want you to get such incredible results that you can't not walk around and be a walking billboard for me. And since I've adopted this mindset in all areas of my life, especially over the last several months, what do you know? I've gotten more referrals from existing clients in the last 3 months than I've ever gotten inside of my business. I'm attracting more and more people to me, whether it be the podcast, whether it be my email list. Go to thesuccesslift.com/join. Check out my daily content. You'll love it. I know it. It might be the podcast. It might be the email. It might be my, content on LinkedIn or Instagram at Brian Pannuzzo. More and more people are finding me. More and more people have told me they've been hanging around the hoop, and all of a sudden it's like they feel this calling to move. I am inspiring them in some way to move, which is awesome because I get inspired from other people in my life. And so what I want to really, really encourage you to think about is where and what in your life is just pretty good. And if you had the opportunity, and shout out to a friend and coach of mine for pushing me to do this. If you had the opportunity to write down on a piece of paper what you wanted in your life, and no one got to look at it, it was just yours. You didn't have to rationalize any of it. You didn't have to explain it to anyone. There wouldn't be the virtue police coming for you, asking you, why would you ever want something like that? That's absurd. That's excessive. You don't need these things. See, what'll happen is when you start to write this stuff down, your mind's going to start to tell you that you don't need it and that you're happy. You're pretty good just where you are. You don't need to always fly private. You fly first class. You don't need the extra home. You can rent a home anywhere you want. You don't need the other golf course. You don't need to have the six pack or the veins in your biceps. You're married. You guys are pretty happy. Fuck that. You don't need to cut back on your vices and addictions anymore. There are other people out there that are way worse than you. Fuck that. Are you going to compare yourself to an alcoholic, to a drug addict, to a gambler? By the way, I was all three of those. Who are you benchmarking yourself to? And in what areas of your life? And why are you most of the time willing to be unrelenting on your benchmark, your standard in your professional life, and you don't do it in your personal life? Why are you willing to work the hours that you do and not see the friends that you would probably want to see on that piece of paper? Why are you willing to go out to the work dinners, but you don't regularly take your spouse out and have a plan? Why are you willing to structure your entire workday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but you don't put more than 10 seconds worth of thought into the food that goes into your mouth? Why are you willing to try to get a workout in when you would never try to show up to the meeting on time. You would never try to miss a work obligation. You would do it. And so my hope for you this week, this quarter, we're in the third quarter, the rest of this summer, when you do have some downtime, is to think about where in your life are things pretty good? And what could you do about it to begin to kill it off, eradicate it, exterminate it, bury it, and move to a level of greatness that you might write down on the piece of paper that no one has to see, that only you get to live with, that you allow yourself the permission to go get. And shout out to an amazing mentor and coach of mine. Appreciate you. I can tell you, all I can tell you is that when you do that, you unlock so many different areas of your life. Again, this is not me taking a victory lap here. I've had to get brutally honest about where I'm at in certain areas of my life. And it is not where I want to be. If you asked me 5 years ago to analyze certain aspects, I would be very proud of myself in some, and I would be really disappointed in myself in others. And so that's over in my life. Now, I don't know when I'll hit the goals that I say that I have, but I know that I'll never stop. And I know that I'll chase after them with an intensity that I haven't had in my prior 45 years of life. If this one hit home for you guys, share it with somebody. But more importantly, do something about it. Have a great week.